What's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop, talking about the J7K and J7K Pro today. If you have been looking for a powerful paddle, I've got two great options for you, and they come in at great prices, with the Pro coming in at $145 and the regular J7K coming in at $135. And stick around to the end, we do have another giveaway. Thank you to Honolulu Pickleball. I enjoyed the J2K and the J2K Pro a lot, and I haven't been playing with too many elongated paddles, but I was very impressed with these. Very fun. And if you like to drive and you like to rip it, well, stick around. I think these would be a great fit for you. So let's jump into the specs and we'll get into the gameplay thoughts. We'll see what these are all about. All right, let's start with the specs of the J7K, which is a thermoformed unibody with perimeter edge foam. For the construction, it is extra elongated, some call it a blade, at the 16.6 inches and 7.4 inches in width, 16 millimeter core, 8.2 ounces, a handle length of 6 inches, grip circumference of 4.125 inches, a swing weight of 123, and a twist weight of 6.51, and that is 100% Kevlar on the face. The J7K Pro has the same construction and the same dimensions. It just has the tighter weave for the Kevlar face, and that results in a lower swing weight and a lower twist weight. So let's move on to the gameplay and my thoughts on these paddles. So the J7K and the J7K Pro are just great elongated paddles. I am very impressed. Honolulu has been killing it. So the J7K is still soft, not as soft as the J2K or something like the Ruby, but it's still on the softer side. I think, just lengthening it out took a little bit away from the softness. You get great spin, you get great finishing power. So your drives, your serves, your overheads are feeling great, and the control is still there, even though in this extra elongated shape. The sweet spot's still there. It's going to be a little narrower just because of those dimensions. But once I dialed it in, coming from all these wide bodies and hybrids, I did have to dial it in for a bit. But once I got it dialed in, I was hitting my shots just how I like them. Drops felt good, and then all the power shots felt good. I was a little bit worried that with this longer handle and the longer shape, the dinks weren't going to feel as good. And I was wrong. They felt pretty good once I got it dialed in. My speed ups were still really good. My rolls were excellent. I think this shape performs very well with your forehand rolls, especially if you have two-handed backhand rolls. Pretty good. And then getting the speed ups into the hands paddles, I thought, with the 123 swing weight, I was going to feel a little slow, but the paddle just holds up well. Once you get, anything that you can take a little bit of a cut at, you get that power activated and you put the ball away, and it felt really good. Resets and blocks, I was a little worried about that, but honestly, they got the twist weight up and it plays true to the twist weight and probably a little bit above. The resets and blocks felt really smooth. I think the area that this paddle is going to not be for you is if you don't like that swing weight at 123, because it's starting to get up there and be a little bit heavier. But if you want a all-court paddle that leans towards power and you're okay with the higher swing weight, then the J7K is it. So the J7K Pro plays a little bit differently. The sweet spot on mine, it felt pretty much just as good. I would say it's just a little harder to control because it's going to have a little bit more pop. So you get that little bit of initial pop off the face. It's just it changes a little bit of how the ball comes off your paddle, whether you're driving, you're dropping. You have to deal with a little bit more higher trajectory just because it's popping off the face a little bit faster on that initial contact. So for some people that will be a challenge. For some people it's just going to feel fine, and this is a little stiffer than the J7K, but not by much. And this thing just hits hard. If you're looking for a paddle that actually is consistently hitting hard shots and doesn't break the bank, this is it, because this thing smokes the ball. I mean, my serves, my drives were on fire, and when I got it overhead, it was a very low percentage chance that you were getting it back. So that felt good. It felt like the power was consistent no matter where I was hitting on the paddle in the sweet spot, a little bit outside the sweet spot. It felt like a good consistent power. It has pretty good punch. It has pretty good pop for an extra elongated paddle. So that was good. Dinking, I think this is the one area where you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting used to it because it's popping off a little bit faster, but once you get used to it, you can let the paddle do the work for you on those resets and blocks. So that is nice. Actually, the J7K Pro is probably my preferred out of the two, and I am known to like a little bit poppier paddles, so that is something to do with it. But it's just a great offensive weapon. So if you're looking for one of the most offensive paddles you can get under 150, the J7K Pro is going to be it. The spin is led by the J2K and the J2K Pro. The J7K and J7K Pro models that I had are pre-production, and the production models are going to be grittier, so that spin should come up. I would imagine it's going to surpass the J2Ks, but for some people they do get more spin on hybrid and wide bodies, so all these are going to create spin. And then the sweet spot is led by the J2K. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Do I recommend the J7K and or the J7K Pro? I do. I mean, for these prices and the performance on the paddles, Honolulu has been killing it. I mean, just an amazing price point, amazing quality. It comes with a pretty premium paddle cover as well. It's nice and thick. It's going to protect your paddle. I don't usually mention the paddle covers, but I know some people do love them. Listen, the J7K Pro, if you rely on drives and crashing and you're just looking to go very offensive, the J7K Pro is one of the best paddles on the market for that, especially if you don't want to deal with the core crushing from the Joolas and the new Vaticoni. This fits the bill for a great price. You can get two of these for the same price as a Joola pretty much. So, and I mean, both have great spin. The stability is pretty good for a paddle that's a little extra elongated. You do have a narrower sweet spot because the paddle is a little narrower. So if you are someone that tends to hit more wide, as you can see here, I have been keeping it pretty good in the center. But if you do tend to hit more on the side, then I would say you want to go with the J2K over this one. If you're looking at staying in the Honolulu family, because it is a little bit narrow and the sweet spot is tighter on these paddles. So keep that in mind. But if you are looking for some of the most power you can get and you're looking for a little pop, the J7K Pro is going to fit that bill. If you're like, hey, I want it to be a little softer, I want that power still, but I don't really want as much pop because it's giving me better control, then the J7K is going to fit that bill. I mean, two amazing elongated paddles. I had actually not been playing elongated paddles a lot because a lot of the paddle releases have not been elongated, but these made me really enjoy the elongated paddles again. It made me start thinking, like, should I be playing with the elongated paddle? I mean, honestly, I have fun with all the shapes because I adjust my game slightly for how I'm playing with them. And you do, another thing to keep in mind too is I know they list this as a range from 118 to, I think, to 124 swing weight on the site, and I think you're gonna find that these swing weights are going to come in more in the 120s, the low 120s. I just don't see, like, unless they make it like you get a really light one, then maybe it could get at 118, but I think it's gonna be a little too twisty at that point. So if you are looking for that lower swing weight, then you're probably going to want to go with the J2K. But if you're looking, if you're relying on your drives and you really like room for your two-handed backhands, J7K is the way to go. And I actually do prefer the J7K Pro just because if I'm playing with the elongated paddle, I want all the power that I can get. So that little extra power that you're going to get from the Pro, along with the decent pop that you're getting from it, that would be my choice. But I did enjoy the J7K as well. If if you want to minimize the pop on the paddle and you just want a little bit of a softer feel, then I would go with the J7K. Besides that, that's all I have on those guys. They have the J3K and J3K Pro coming out soon. Pretty excited for that as well. Anyway, follow the instructions on the screen if you want to enter the giveaway, and keep those comments coming. I love hearing everyone's story, their paddle journey, everything else going on in pickleball. Tell me a funny story about pickleball. I don't know. Drop whatever you want in the comments, as long as it's, you know, not too mean. Keep it nice. And if you want to keep seeing this content, you know, subscribe, like the video. It helps me out a lot, and I appreciate all the support. So thank you very much, and go play some pickleball.